Hello everybody, my name's Spy. Welcome back to another video, and we're going to be continuing our Extend and Resign series here on the tube. We started with Nakobe Dean the other day. I want to go through and talk about every prominent Eagles free agent going into 2026. Now that the season's over, we've seen their body of work. Obviously the playoffs, are a couple extra games, but we've seen the full body of work from these players for the past couple years. And that brings us today to Dallas Goedert, who has been the Eagles tight end since 2018. He was drafted after we won the Super Bowl. It's hard to believe he's been an Eagle for this long, but we're going to talk about whether or not the Eagles should bring him back on a new contract. So let's get into this. Obviously, Goedert had a monster year scoring touchdowns in the red zone. Insane how this guy turned into like a red zone demon, right? He was always kind of underutilized scoring. I mean, you look over his past couple years. Last year he had 2. 2023 he had 3. I mean, he usually has 3, 4, 5, right? This year he pops off 411. Now, some of these were shovel passes, right? Some of these were like 1-yarders, but that doesn't matter. He still scored. Is it inflated a little bit? Can you make that argument? Sure. This is the franchise record for tight ends. I think it's... I don't know. Okay, so this stat thing's here. It's on PFF too for touchdowns. I think this is first among tight ends, so he has the most among tight ends, and then he has the second tied in the NFL against other receivers. But he had a great season. 60 catches, 591 yards, 11 touchdowns. Almost 10 yards per reception, which is really good. If we look at his past couple years, this is the most games he's played since 2021. 2023 he played 14. He did go on. He didn't go on IR that year. He did get hurt that year, but he didn't go on IR. Last year he only played 10 games. 2022 he played 12 games. He played the most games, since 2021. Tied for 2019. 2018 he played the most when he was a rookie. So his health was there this year. That's been one of the biggest problems with Dallas Goedert over his career. He does tend to get injured a lot. We'll talk about that a little bit more later, but right now we're going to talk about the stats. So I think when you look at Goedert's body of work, he's pretty consistently been like a 500 to 800 yard receiver in his career. The touchdowns probably will regress back to the mean, but he also does usually average a lot of yards per catch. He's a great yards after catch guy. He runs really well with the ball in his hands. He can do damage when you put the ball in his hands. I mean, look at some of these. 2021, 14.8 yards per reception. 22, 12.8. 23, 10. Last year, 11. Pretty consistently, I mean, you throw him the ball, he can pick up a first down, right? He's been a pretty good chain mover for the Eagles for years. If we look at some more advanced stats here on PFF, obviously we don't care about the grades too much, but he is first among tight ends and touchdowns. Okay, so that was true. Obviously the receiving yards, they gave him a 66.8 overall grade. We'll talk about why soon. Obviously as a receiver, he's been awesome, but there's another side to playing tight end that's been a little questionable this year. He's 13th in targets with 78, 11th in routes run, 10th in receptions. So definitely put up a great year and, great year scoring the ball in the red zone without getting a ton of targets. He's not getting force-fed like Brock Bowers or George Kittle or Travis Kelce. Like, he kind of just gets the ball when he gets the ball and moves the chains and does a really good job. Only 3 drops this year, which is... If you would have told me that in like 2018, 2019, 2020, I wouldn't have believed you because, if any of you have been around long enough, Goedert used to have a major drop problem. We used to meme him for that. I remember like 2019, it was really bad. It was pretty bad. We used to meme him, and he only had 3 drops this year, so very reliable target for Jalen Hurts. Him and Hurts do really trust each other. I mean, you can tell. Earlier in his career, Hurts didn't really throw to tight ends, but once he evolved as a passer, you can see it. I mean, he wants to get the ball to Dallas Goedert. He trusts him as a safety blanket. He hits him over the middle pretty often compared to other targets. Goedert has become a very reliable weapon for Jalen Hurts, and I mean, this is part of it. Only 3 drops, 9.9 yards per reception. He has a 137.3 passer rating when you target Dallas Goedert, third among tight ends. Unbelievable. 7.2 ADOT. Definitely would put a lot of that on Patullo, but I mean, what do the stats show right here? He doesn't get a ton of targets. That's fine. When he does, though, he is reliable, and you have very high passer rating when you target him, which means he's reliable and he makes things happen. So Goedert is a very good NFL tight end. He's been a very good tight end. Has he been an elite one? I think he's been on the verge of it. I don't think he's ever been a top 5 Kittle, Kelsey, tight end like that. But he's been really good throughout his career. Now you enter the part where next year he's going to be 31. The Eagles have nothing behind him because Cal Kutera is a free agent. I think Kyle Granson's a free agent as well. So really, you don't just have a Goedert problem. You have a tight end room problem because outside of Goedert, those other guys are horrible too. They're exceptionally terrible. But Goedert put up a great season this year. He's been great in the playoffs too. We play the 49ers, this weekend. I would imagine Goedert has probably a good game, right? He was great last year in the playoffs. He's been great in the Super Bowls. Dallas Goedert for the Eagles has been pretty consistent, good player for the past, 8 years that he's been with the Eagles? Consistently a great player. So, where does that take us? Well, it's an interesting thing to talk about. Again, the age does become a problem. Now, you have to also remember that, again, there is nobody behind him. There is nobody behind Dallas Goedert, and the Eagles haven't really invested any draft capital in a Dallas Goedert replacement. I mean, there's been tight ends over the past couple years that I thought were really interesting. Last year, I liked Gunnar Helm. I liked Mason Taylor. I liked some of those guys. I liked Tyler Warren. Obviously, he wasn't in the Eagles' range. But when the draft started, he was. Obviously, him and Loveland rose as we got closer to the draft. But there's been guys I liked. I liked Jatavian Sanders the year before. 22? The one for the Cardinals, Trey McBride. I really liked him, and he's been really good in the NFL. The Eagles haven't really invested at tight end behind Dallas Goedert at all. And I think a lot of it is because they've been used to having him, and they like having Goedert as their tight end one. I think he is a player that the team does like. So it leaves us in a really weird situation because 31, I think Ertz was 30 going on 31 when they let go of Zach Ertz. I feel like you might see a similar thing, but the difference was when Zach Ertz's time was up in Philly and he wanted a big new contract, the Eagles weren't going to give it to him in 2020. He played the season out the year after he gets traded. You had Goedert behind him. You don't have anyone necessarily behind Dallas Goedert. So if we want to talk about money for what a new contract would look like, I think it's going to be a really, really interesting thing to see because he is 31. He's not getting any younger, but he still looks good, right? Like he's still a good player. Where does that put him in here? Because Mark Andrews just got extended. He got like another $30 million. Is he kind of in that territory where a team's going to give him 2 years, 3 years, 30, 35 million, maybe like a Dalton Schultz type of contract? Obviously, he's not pulling Kittle, Trey McBride money. Kelsey, he's not pulling that money. Probably not pulling like TJ Hawkinson money. Would I rather have Goedert? Maybe. I'm not a big TJ Hawkinson fan really anymore. Cole Kmet's pulling $50 million. Jake Ferguson's pulling 50. Pat Fryermuth is pulling 48. So there is a decent market here, I think, for Goedert, because I feel like I'd rather have Goedert than Cole Kmet. I'd rather have Goedert than probably Pat Fryermuth, and I do think Fryermuth is probably underutilized by the Steelers. I would rather have him than freaking Evan Ingram, who got $23 million sitting here. So I think you're in like the $30 to $40 million range for Goedert. Are the Eagles going to pay that to a tight end that's 31 with a laundry list of injuries? I don't know. At the same time, they don't have anyone behind him, so it might be a situation where he's kind of your only option, maybe. We'll talk about other options in the future, but would you rather have Goedert or Dawson Knox, right? I feel like that's a close one. I would maybe want to have Goedert, right? So you start looking at some of these contracts and you start saying, well, I'd rather have Goedert here. I'd rather have this, that. Give me Goedert here. And it turns into one of these situations where there probably is going to be a pretty good market for Dallas Goedert, for teams that want a tight end, especially teams that are competing for a Super Bowl that are going to say, hey, Goddard's available. He's 31. We might be able to get him at a decent market contract for a couple of years. Hell yeah, bring Dallas Goedert in, right? So this is going to be an interesting situation. I feel like the Eagles are going to want him back. Maybe not long term, and maybe that's where we have a problem. I feel like Goddard's done everything you'd want to get another contract. It's just the age, and I know Howie doesn't like throwing big money at people in this age range. Obviously, there's been exceptions to stuff like that. I mean, he threw a big contract at James Bradbury. That wasn't good, but you see what I mean? Like, he's done everything they asked. He's been one of the best tight ends in the NFL this year. He's been really good. He's been really reliable. What would possibly stop the Eagles from wanting to throw big money at him? Well, we have a problem. We have one slight problem. Okay, number one, his dead cap hit next year is $20 million. So I would imagine he is cut before that or traded. I would imagine they don't trade him because the other team would have to sign and trade. He's probably getting cut and then becomes a free agent. Or you extend him and you kick this down the road. I don't know what's going to happen there. But the injury history is still a concern. I know he's been healthy this year, but 2020 went on IR with an ankle injury. 21, he played most of the season. There was some weird, pandemic stuff in here. I think he missed one game with a concussion too. 2022 went out, had a shoulder injury. This was kind of a fluke one. The 2023 one, I don't know why. Oh, probably because it was an IR. He was hurt in 2023 as well. It was like the same injury to his arm. He got pulled down. 22 was... What game was that? That was Washington, I think. He got pulled down and his arm got cooked. 23 was against Dallas. The first Dallas... I think the second Dallas game, he re-injured it too. Fluky injuries, right? Last year had a knee injury. He did come back for the playoffs and play pretty freaking well. I think he missed a game or two before. Yeah, he missed the Bengals game in 2024. I don't know why it doesn't. It only puts IR on here. I wish it would put full injury history, but you'll have to take what I'm saying at face value, right? I think I remember this stuff. The injury history is scary. He's pretty much been hurt at a point every single year. Turning 31, you start, you get a little, right? You're like, right? You start getting scared of that injury history coming back to bite him, right? I mean, if you would have asked this, let's say he was a impending free agent last year before they redid his contract. I feel like most fans would say, hell no, don't bring Goedert back. He's always hurt, right? He has a year this year where he plays pretty much every game, and now it's like, oh, well, yeah, bring him back, right? We don't have, he was healthy this year, right? Now you start walking this weird line of the injury concern, and this is something I talked about with Dean as well, Nakobe Dean, the linebacker. these guys have injury histories, right? If you're Howie Roseman, are you going to throw a big contract to somebody like that? I don't know. Let's talk about another problem. I don't have the PFF advanced stats for this, so Dallas Goedert has always been a good run blocker. Pretty much every single year, I would say in here, he's been a pretty good run blocker. That's what's made him like a two-way tight end and always given him some additional value, even in years where he doesn't get a ton of receiving yards because of how the Eagles run their offense, right? A lot of mouths to feed, a lot of other receivers. He's always been a really good run blocker. This year has been a problem. So this is the Eagles on Sports Illustrated, written by John McMullen. Go check the article out. There's something in here that I wanted to bring up. So the 2025 season has not been a stellar year for the Eagles tight ends. Of the 74 players at the position league-wide who have played enough to be ranked by Pro Football Focus, veteran stalwart Dallas Goedert, typically a top 20 presence at the position, is number 33, while Calcaterra is dead last at 74. In 150 offensive snaps, Granson would be below Calcaterra if he reached the threshold. We'll come back to this. In each case, run blocking is weighing the group down, with all three grading out at a sub-50 by PFF, a factor that has contributed to the Eagles' run efficiency being down 144% this season, based on EPA per play. Holy crap. That is bad. That is bad. Pass blocking has been slightly better, with Calcaterra showing the most fight in that aspect. Calcaterra is one of the worst blockers I've ever seen. I don't think he could block a goddamn parked car. Okay, he is horrible blocking. His ass, he can't block anything. So, this year the run blocking has been pretty bad. A lot of that's been on the offensive line, but unfortunately, Goedert hasn't been very good at it either. I mean, we saw the PFF, and the Eagles' run efficiency is down 144% this year. So, something that Goedert was always really good at this year has been a problem. And if we pull it up from last year, we have Brendan Deeg right here. Go check him out on Twitter. One of the best Eagles writers and creators out there. This is coming off 2024, so this is from last year. Keep this in mind. Eagles' run game this season, 2024, when they won the Super Bowl with Dallas Goedert, the EPA per rush was .163, which was first in the league by a mile. Without Goedert, it was down to .057. Goedert was a really good run blocker last year, and that is completely fallen apart this year. I'm not really sure why. I do have a clip here I want to show. I'm not 100% sure why. Is it age? Is it not wanting to get hurt because you're in a contract year? Is it effort? I really don't know, honestly. I don't know. There was another post I saw. I tried really hard to find this, but Goedert was one of the worst run blockers in the NFL for a tight end. I'll look on my phone here to see if I can find it on the side. I have absolutely no idea where this one went, but he's been really, really bad this year at run blocking, and it's just really unfortunate because that was always such a strength of him, and it's been a problem for the rest of the offensive line as well. It's not just Goedert. Is he trying to save himself? I don't know. I don't really know. It's just a weird thing. I can't find this. Damn it. Yeah, I can't find it on the side. Oh. Here we go. So, I'll put this up on the screen. Thomas R. Peterson, Eagles tight end run block grades. Calcaterra 113th, Dallas Goedert 104th, and Kyle Granson 78th. Pretty bad. Pretty putrid horrible, terrible, absolutely disgraceful. Let me pull this up so we can see this together. Okay, here we go. I don't like not having this stuff up beforehand, but I finally found it. So there's a couple people out there that have made stuff like this. This is Thomas R. Peterson. Go check him out. One of the best. Again, Eagles tight end run block grades. Goedert 104th. Pretty bad. I know this is from October 3rd, but he was pretty consistently horrible all season. Again, I don't know what happened. We have a clip here. This is from Shane Half. Posts a bunch of film. Absolute, just one of the best content. An inspiration for me to make content on here. This guy's awesome. Please go check him out. Give him a follow. Give him a Patreon follow. Whatever. Just watch this guy. He has a film clip right here. Goedert used to be a big plus as a run blocker, but you wouldn't know it by watching him this season. He hopes the Eagles prioritize getting a tight end who can run block this offseason. So we have a play right here. This is an under center run. This looks like an inside zone. So what they're going to do is they're going to bring Devontae in motion. Or not Devontae in motion. They're going to bring Goedert in motion here. So the idea is that Goedert is going to seal this edge off. And then Saquon is going to go right up this hole right here. So Steen and Dickerson... Steen and Cam Jurgens are going to get a block right there. Seal this off. And there is going to be a massive hole right here. I mean... This is a gaping hole. This is a P-hub gaping monster hole. This is 5'10". This is 15 yards. This might be a touchdown on it. For Saquon, he cuts this and goes right up the middle. I think this is inside zone. Correct me if I'm wrong, but everybody does their job. This is blocked up pretty well, honestly. They do a good job of blocking this. There's a DB here and a DB here. Saquon versus those two. One of them probably brings them down, but you're ripping 15, 20 yards off. This is a chunk run. These are the ones that wear you down and kill you over the game. Now, how does this end? Oh, Saquon's hit in the backfield, and this is over. Let's go back a little bit. So, Goedert comes in motion. This has been a major problem all year. The guys they bring in motion do absolutely nothing. Now watch Goedert here. He's going to get to the edge here to seal it off, okay? Completely whiffs this block. Totally doesn't even try. I don't know what the hell this is. Goedert just pushes him. Brother, what the hell are we doing? What the hell? What is this? This is not effort. This is terrible. This is Goedert all season run blocking. It's bad. It's really bad. Brother, what the hell is this, my man? You had a running start on his ass coming in motion. All you have to do is seal the edge, seal the backside of this play off. Mailata did it. He did his job. Who else is that? Mailata does his job. Devontae does that. Freaking Dotson does his job. When do you see Dotson do his job? Never. They do their jobs. All Goedert has to do is seal this off. Nope. And it's a tackle in the backfield. How many goddamn times this year has Saquon Barkley been tackled in the backfield? You can just go get a drinking game. Go get yourself a bottle of whiskey. Take a shot every time Saquon gets tackled in the backfield, and then people go online like, oh, Saquon's washed. Oh, he sucks. My brother in Christ, what are we supposed to do when your tight end who wants an extension and wants a good extension is doing stuff like this? This is terrible. I mean, we just have never seen Goedert do something like this. It's just, is he trying to not get hurt? This is horrible. This isn't just one play. This happens throughout games. Okay, this is bad. This is really bad. This is just one tight end on the field, too. This isn't when they bring Calcaterra in, who's even worse. He is ass at run blocking. Kyle Granson's fine. Cameron Latu's whatever. At the end of the day, this tight end room is ass. Okay, it's ass. That's it. It's ass. Okay. I don't know what the hell's happened with the blocking with Goedert. Just absolutely brutal. But as a receiver, he's been awesome, right? He's been great as a receiver. So where does this leave us? Should they bring him back? Do the Eagles bring him back? Let's take a look at the free agents. You have Travis Kelce, who I think is probably going to retire. I don't really see him playing anywhere else. I mean, he's a Chief, right? He's a Chief. David Njoku, 30, basically as well. Older player. I don't really see the Eagles being interested in him. I think he's a good player. I think he's a good receiver. I don't know about him blocking. I don't think it's anything exceptional. I don't think he's a very high ceiling type of player. I would rather have Goedert than Njoku. Tyler Higbee. I'm good. Tyler Higbee's a solid player. He's 33. I'm good. I'm not counting Taysom Hill. You have something interesting here. You have Kyle Pitts, who's going to be a free agent. Now, Pitts played pretty well his last season in Atlanta. I think they still have the 5th-year option on him, too. Obviously, they can franchise tag him. I don't know if he's going to go back to Atlanta. I would imagine they probably do let him walk. That is somebody that I would be very interested in right there. Can I pull up his stats on here? I don't know if I can. I like him. Okay. Oh, here we go. So 2025, 88 receptions, 928 yards, and 5 receiving touchdowns. He had some monster games at the end of the season. He's been in a weird... Oh, they did take the 5th. This was his 5th year. Okay, so he is going to be a free agent, most likely. Weird career for him. 600 yards, 600 yards, 300 yards, 1,000 yards. I was a really big fan of Kyle Pitts coming into the NFL in that 2021 draft. I thought he was going to be a generational tight end. I did. Everybody else did. Has he been a bust? At points, I think you could argue that. Has he been really good this year? Yeah, I think he's had a really good season this year. So, total bust, no. Disappointment, I would say absolutely. Now, do keep in mind, there was some bad quarterback play in here. There was Desmond Ridder in here. There was horrible quarterback play in here. There was the zombie body of Kirk Cousins. There was... Michael Penix, who was still, a rookie. He was a second-year guy this year. There's some horrible quarterback play in here. So I think he is somebody that could be actually pretty interesting. Is he a great run blocker? Is he a good receiver? I would say so. I mean, he had a great year this year, even with inconsistent quarterback play. He played all 17 games. 87% of the snaps, 118 targets, 88 catches. I mean, this was a great season from Kyle Pitts. Now, you, me, and like 30 other teams are saying the exact same thing right now. There's going to be a market for Kyle Pitts. He is 25. He's younger than Goedert. I would consider a Kyle Pitts. Somebody else I've always liked who's on here. Okay, hold on. Let's do something else. Let's take a look at the rest of these guys. Zach Ertz is coming off an ACL tear. He's not probably playing at all next year. He's not a actual, a target, right? He's probably going to retire. Austin Hooper, hell no. Foster Moreau, I'm good. Adam Troutman, I'm good. Tyler Conklin, I'm good. Noah Fant, I really liked him throughout his career, but what a disappointment. Mo Alley Cox, the corpse of washed-up Darren Waller. He did have some decent games. Jelani Woods, Robert Tonyan. Remember when he led the NFL in receiving touchdowns by a tight end and then got paid and was terrible? Cade Otton's okay. Remember Tyree Jackson on the Eagles, guys? Remember him? Chig Okonkwo is someone I do like. He can't run block for shit. He cannot run block at all. I've always liked Chig Okonkwo. I think he is a pretty good receiver. Same thing with Isaiah Likely. Really good. Isaiah Likely is an amazing receiver. So there's a couple guys in here that are really good receivers. Questionable blockers. Anyone who signs Calcaterra has lost their mind, by the way. This is a horrible tight end class. It's going to be Goedert, Njoku, Kyle Pitts, Chigakonkwo. I mean, some teams will probably be interested in Tyler Higbee and Isaiah Likely. So this is really bad. Again, I would entertain the idea of Isaiah Likely, Chigakonkwo. I would kick the tires on them. Personally, what would I do? Should he come back? I feel like this is probably the right time to move on from Goedert. There is the draft as well, and I think this is where you really make your decision. I talked about this in my last mock draft. I got a lot of comments about this. I answered a lot of comments about this. I talked about this a lot on that video. For the draft, the Eagles, I don't know where they're going to finish with their pick. Obviously, everybody wants to be at 32. I don't know where Kenyon Sadiq is going to go, the tight end out of Oregon. He's the best tight end in this class by, I don't know, Glacier, Grand Canyon. Kenyon Sadiq is by far and away the best tight end in this draft. Nobody else is going in the first round. It's Sadiq. This is Sadiq's draft. He is an unbelievable receiver. Unbelievable. He is incredible. The blocking, it's not the best. There are some concerns about his frame. He does look thin. I think he's the same height and weight as Brock Bowers, though, so does that really matter? Well, I mean, well, the Raiders' run blocking hasn't looked very good, but, you know, it's just really hard to find guys that can go both ways. It really is. I like Eli Stowers as well out of Vanderbilt. I do need to watch some of him. I like Michael Trigg out of Baylor as well. And then somebody that's not on here that I think, well, I can understand why he's not on here, is Eli Raridan out of Notre Dame. I am a Notre Dame fan. I've watched a lot of him. Great run blocker. Pretty good two-way. Not the best receiver. Had a down year this year as a receiver. Didn't really get the ball a lot. You know, the Mike Denbrock offense can be a weird thing, but there's options in the draft. There's guys I like. They haven't really drafted tight ends, though. You know what I mean? So it's a weird type of thing. I thought with Dean it was pretty cut and dry. Like, oh, they're going to let Jahad Campbell slide in. There's nobody really to slide in. I like some of the free agents. Obviously, you'd want like a Kyle Pitts or an Isaiah Likely. Or a guy like that. But, you know, you and 20 other teams are going to want that too. There's not that many tight ends in here. There's not that many two-way guys. I would say it's pretty 50-50, honestly. I could see a world where he comes back for another 2 years. I think no matter what, if they don't draft a tight end this year, I'm going to be pissed. They need to draft somebody else to be not even just a backup, to fill this tight end room, because it's horrible, okay? I'm done with Grant Calcaterra. I'm done with Kyle Granson. I'm done with Jack Stoll. I am done with these trash cans. I mean, Jack Stoll was a good blocker. I won't trash him too much, but you get my point. I'm sick of these backup tight ends that bring you absolutely nothing of exceptional value. Please, no matter what they do, they need to draft another tight end. Hell, draft two of them. Draft Sadiq and Eli Raridan. Fill this tight end room back up because it's horrible. So I think it's 50-50. Personally, what would I do? If I were Howie Roseman, what would I do? If I were Howie Roseman, I would move on from Dallas Goedert. I would say thank you for what you've done for us. We're moving on. And we want to get younger at this position, and we don't want to invest a ton of money at this position. And this is something I've been harping on for a while. There's big contracts coming up for the Eagles. Big contracts are coming up. Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, potentially Jordan Davis, Quinyon and Cooper eventually, Moro Ajomo potentially with a contract. There are some contracts coming up for the Eagles. So it is something that you have to also keep in mind. How much money are they going to be willing to invest at the tight end position? So with that in mind, this is going to be a really big thing to talk about as the offseason goes on. The playoffs, you know, can obviously add value if he has some monster playoff games, but you know, I would say that it probably is time to move on and find somebody else and find the future of the tight end room. Again, if you went back a couple of years, everybody would tell you that, right? It's time to move on from guys. It's time to draft somebody else, this, that, and the third. He's 31. He's going to go on 32. I think it would be okay to move on from him. Now, I know the Ravens didn't do that with Mark Andrews, but there is also the side of there's nobody behind him. You can draft somebody now if you give him a short-term deal and make that happen, but Goedert took a pay cut to come back this season. Is Dallas Goedert going to take potentially another pay cut on a 2-year deal to stay in Philadelphia? I don't know after what he's done this year. Like I said before, I think he's done everything that you would want out of your tight end. To an extent in the receiving game. In the run game's a little different, but that's where I stand on it. Let me know where you guys stand on this down below in the comments section. Do you want him back? Do you want him to move on? If they do move on, who do you really want to see? Who would your pipe dream be? Because, I mean, for me, it's Kenyon Sadiq. I really like him. But let me know all that down below. Leave a like on the way out. Hit that sub button, those post notifications. Thank you so much for watching. Love you guys, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.